if you happen to be catching me tonight, I'll be on tonight. I won't be back till Sunday, but tonight I'm going for 1 hour tonight or less. It depends on how many people show up. If people show up, pushing an hour. If not, I'll cut it in half. But either way, stuff to discuss, stuff to talk about. Um, well, you want to get into, feel free. I'm here for 1 hour. Hope your weather is good as we're in late spring. I'm sure people who've been watching the NBA Finals got stuff to talk about that last night. So I will address that. Um, if you're watching it live or if you don't come on, I'll just say Porzingis looked like a beast last night. And that was the dude. What's up? What's up? I'm on for 1 hour exactly because I got to get down, but I'm going to address this about Porzingis. That was the guy that Phil Jackson drafted. That guy last night was the guy that Phil Jackson drafted. That was the dude that looked at World Star Hip Hop. What's up? They've been waiting on that guy to show up. Now the spirit of Dirk Nowitzki, and as Jay Will said to me, the Dirk meets the Kimbe. I mean, he played out his mind last night. He was hitting fadeaways and dunking and blocking and athletic. I'm like, wow, he could be a front runner for MVP if it ain't Jason Tatum. That's gonna be a tough series for Dallas. Yeah, he was off, but that wasn't why they lost though. They didn't. What Boston did is they sat back and played long on them, so they couldn't be cute last night. Those back cutters and you gotta force the shot clock down. You gotta make Boston work. They did not make them work last night. What's happening? What are you doing? So it's gonna be a tough series if they don't get it together. Because if Porzingis and Jaylen Brown are playing like that, Tatum's gonna have a night. Al Horford might have a night. And White's gonna have a night. You ain't got enough firepower to match that if that becomes. Because the reason why Boston looks like the favorite uh, is that they got a deeper team. But if Luka can get things going, yeah, I always encourage everybody to hit that like button. I will definitely appreciate that. Um, Thank y'all so much. Appreciate everybody that's here tonight. Um, if he can get it going, but what he got to do is ingrain everybody. They got to get. This is for Ted especially. You got to get your boy off the milk box, out the missing in action. They need somebody that they didn't see coming to light a fuse in their behind because Boston's gonna be coming 4 and 5 deep. No, I don't think he's underrated. I think he's rated as he is. He hasn't really made a statement, but he's as touted as he is. He'd be more closer to overrated than he would be underrated. Because if you were in that Celtic jersey, you've been to 2 finals, you've been all those Eastern Conference finals, you've been like the most important American player you could say that they've been pushing. Now, no. Unless you include his college career, we're going to do that. If we include his greatness at Florida, then yes. And they do that in the NBA, so. I don't know who he is, DP, but but peace up. No, he ain't no Hall of Famer. Come on now. But if you conclude his Florida career, then yes. They do that in the NBA. Eventually it'll take G League stats and Nerf ball stats and pickup game stats, and you'll be a Hall of Famer too. I like Al Horford, but he ain't no Hall of Famer. Come on now. I don't know what that means, unless you got something to say. I don't know what that means. We are in here having a discussion, so. But anyway, it's gonna be a I heard about that. And you know, I don't pay that turkey no mind. How did he backtrack though? Did he say he's lovable and likable? Okay, good. Thank you too from India. Appreciate you. What did he say? Do I think it's video worthy? Do you tell how great Kyrie is? Uh yeah, okay, JT. Me Ted's a Yankee fan too. As a Yankee fan, he better win a ring. I'll put it to you like this: if George Steinbrenner was there, he'd have probably been fired. Like I'm sure Ted co-signed this probably about 7, 8 years ago. Mr. 90 wins and don't do nothing. I don't want to say nothing about Aaron Boone till the year's over. And I told Ted that already. I'm not gonna say nothing about him till we get to September. I'm not gonna address him. We're in first place now. I don't want to jinx it. I'm gonna keep my okay. I don't want to talk about him. He Mr. 90 wins. He just you know, he kind of got that old Jim Harbaugh situation before Harbaugh won the chip with Michigan. One of them guys who does everything but just can't quite get the other. Anyway, tell me what yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a good one. I don't think that's a good fit. I don't. These guys is veterans. Now that might work for AK Reeves, Vanderbilt, but some of them other cats, mm-mm. And LeBron ain't gonna do no suicides, and an AD ain't gonna do all that. You just gotta use common sense, and you have to tell LeBron he has to defer. I told you how to make y'all better. Y'all got to make LeBron the third option where he can look like the first or second. You can't have him as your first or second option. He's got to be your third, and he's got to look like a first, second, third. And you know what I mean by that? It's kind of like, you know how I talk about Kirk Cousins manipulates 1, 2, and 3, except, you got to look like if you're in a tier below, you got to look like a tier or two up, but you can't be that tier to compete. I didn't pay it. You know what? That whole thing is a much ado about nothing as far as I'm concerned because JJ is trying to learn on the job. He might be a stunt. He might be. This is the only time I'll put him in the same sentence. He might be headed for another Steve Nash type of situation. I don't. He had a really good career, very good. He had some productivity, but Jimmy Rollins to me was the better player of the two. Brian Howard was big time, but mm, mm, I thought he had a strong athletic and he was a big power hitter, but I like Jimmy Rollins better. So I don't know. Juan gone. That's what I think about Juan Gonzalez. Mr. The fence is too deep. Can you bring the fences in? Crying all the time. Now, if they really hold people accountable for the juicy or anything, what about him? All his crying. And he was a hack hitter. I mean, he hacked, you know. I didn't really pay him a lot of mind. He was, yeah, for his time, but he wasn't all time. Everybody knew what he kind of did. I think he cried about the fences in Texas. One of them said he was crying about the fences. Pay him no mind. I like Ryan Howard. I just don't think about him often. What's up, then? Hey, thanks for what you said because you definitely hit the spot about Porzingis last night. That was a good one, Dirk and Dikembe. That's the way he was supposed to be when Phil Jackson drafted him. That was who he was supposed to be. Can I do a Bill Walton for y'all real quick? Can I do a Bill Walton? Rest in peace to Bill Walton. I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember when Kristaps Porzingis was supposed to be that great like he was last night in game 1. Yes. Yes, big man. Throw it down, big man. Yes. That was the Porzingis that Phil Jackson drafted. Yes. He flushed it last night. I don't know. I want you to tell me more with Stephen A. Or I'll look it up with how he backtrack on Kyrie to see if that's video worthy. That's what I want to know. I don't know. Wild is kind of wild. Throw it down, big man. Throw it down. Yes, flush. I was like, that. I got to say Ben Wallace because you get more with Ben. Dikembe was integral, but Ben Wallace, like I said last night, he was up for MVP consideration. Oh, it wasn't Kyrie's fault last night. And I saw Skip kind of alluded to that too. It's not his fault. They got outplayed. They got out hustled. Yeah, well, Ben covered a lot of ground. They got out hustled. The defense for Boston was stellar. They transitioned really well. They put the pressure on them. They didn't let up. Boston has a tendency to let up, let you back around. They pretty much said, Luka, you do what you want to do, but ain't nobody else going to beat us tonight. That's what it was. So, and Dallas got to find a way not to let others get involved. And they got to get their others up. Or it could be a short series if they don't. That's going to be a tough series with the way. Because you're talking about a situation, about a team. Ben was physical, athletic. Yeah, I know. But that don't mean nothing, though. Frenchie's got 4 of them. Rudy Gobert. What's that mean? Ben Wallace was built different. He got hot late, but the problem is that they couldn't get no easy buckets. He'll take some positives from the game. You know, they gotta find a way to incorporate, but they gotta slow the game down too. They cannot get into a slugfest with Boston. And so does Rudy Gobert. You remember when it used to mean something to have multiple? What's up? Doesn't mean much. He sure did. He got his behind 8 up. Yeah, he'll make adjustments. But they gotta get your boy going. They gotta get somebody off the bench. They gotta mix and match. And they gotta keep Porzingis at bay. Can't let him dance like that. You know. He's in a lot of trouble, but he's just a reflection of the industry, though. Why is Senior in the doghouse? I know about Junior. Puffy's situation is pretty dire, but again, he got the money to keep his behind up. If they get their offense together, if they can take the next step, they're a work in progress. You know, he's one of the best quarterbacks. I like the way he play, but they don't come with the right pieces at the right time, or they just a step off. See, what makes him great is his rawness. But then they get into that. It's like Harbaugh does not know how to coach offense. Oh Lord, you know what that means, Ted. That mean that butt gonna be gone. Well, your daddy and your brother and your cousin and your uncle get into it. Boston ain't really got to adjust much because all they got to do is neutralize and they can make switches. The problem is that they got more to throw at Dallas than vice versa. Dallas got to figure out how to mix tempo. Dallas got to control tempo. They got to figure out how to control tempo and they got to figure out how to cut turnovers, don't get caught up in transition, and make Boston have to play full court basketball. But if they get caught up, trying to be cute, they're gonna problem. You ain't lying. You ain't lying. Cause I'm gonna tell you something. He play like that and he healthy. He gonna command some crazy, but somebody gonna make a bid on him. I mean, he and like I said, this is Phil Jackson gotta be somewhere in Montana smoking a good one going, that's the guy I drafted. Well, the problem is that this tempo had been dictated early though. They didn't gonna have a chance. I watched what I watched. You got to remember, Boston's got more talent and they got more ways to beat them. So Luca and them got to find a way to draw it back, mix up tempo, got to get others involved, and then but don't get caught up. Don't get caught, because Porzingis is playing like a wild card, and Jalen Brown's on a mission. I love Doris Burke. She's a pro. It's a shame she got to work for ESPN. I think she's legit. I've always liked Doris Burke. Well, I like to say that for my live videos, but I think I did do that on my live videos. But I'll do a different topic tomorrow for my baseball ones. Um Ozzie Smith will always be there. Um Cal Ripken, Derek Jeter, A-Rod, I said that, Dave Concepcion. So it's a little bit of mixture of old school, new school. Ozzy will always have a sentimental place for me. That was a bad dude. The Wizard of Oz was a beast, and watch him do his flips. Huge fan. Well, it was different shortstops I like for different reasons. So it's a mixture. I already got asked that. I'm doing that on video tomorrow. I got asked that. I'm doing that one tomorrow. That request video came through. So I'm doing that one tomorrow. Travis had hit me up with that. So I'm going to do that one tomorrow for a live video. I'm going to get time to flesh that out the way I want to. Yeah, shortstops are very, some of them going to be old. I don't think the rest are going to get in the way of this series because teams are shooting teams. No, they're going to put him in because of his college career and then because of winning a ring, 2 finals. That'll get him in with a ring, but it's because of his college career, more importantly. He ain't got that kind of career that I sit there and go, oh, he's a Hall of Famer. Not based on his NBA career. I give Madden a slight edge. It's a bit more impressive what he did overall. What's happening? What's happening? How you doing? Appreciate that. Y'all love some Al Horford though. I have not seen Al Horford get so much love nowhere where I've been. No one ever talks about him. I will give him credit though, but I tell you one thing: if he play another 2, 3 years, he get to 80, he'll be all right. Yeah, Adonis done cleaned up so much. He looks like a Avis salesman. I know. I don't even want to talk about that. And I love Adonis on his game, but well, I'll say it again. If Dallas plays like that and Boston plays like that, this series won't be for long. But Zinga's like he on a mission. He looking like Dirk got inserted in him with little Dikembe, and Jalen Brown looked like someone said somebody's mama. I did a video about it already. Um, Yeah, he Mr. Clean now. He look like Richard Law, look like Beyonce's ex stepdaddy. Oh, he had to put a little curl on his head, a little activator, and that mustache. He like Billy D. Williams, Colt 45. I see Has. Has trying to get that bag. Oh well, you just keep asking about these guys. I mean, these are kind of running. I guess Hinch. But yeah, Haslam. Yeah, I mean, it's tough for me to watch him up there. Because when you start rocking at ESPN, you know. I don't think that Hurley's gonna make the Lakers no contender. Shh. I don't think he's gonna make them no contender. They got to get a bench. They got to get some more depth. They got to build a team around AD properly, and they got to tell LeBron to kind of fade. I think it's because in Philly, you didn't have a real second option. How you doing? And I think in Boston, he's allowed to freelance. He got the freelance. So was it in Atlanta? Oh, yeah, he freelance. That's what he likes to do. I'm not big on that Horford. I respect his longevity. I ain't that big on him because I still remember that finals against Golden State. And Ted and one of y'all remember what I'm talking about. He had Steph Curry like barbecue chicken on the base, and he sat there and hit a fadeaway. And I was like, so when you, and I remember when he was in Atlanta, he had a chance for a flush against Cleveland, and he just sat there. My favorite NBA team, thank you, Misty, is the Miami Heat, but we suck. So we got a lot of problems. We got a lot of problems. No, I like Nick Nurse. No, in fact, if Embiid don't get hurt, I think Embiid been MVP, and I think they probably go 2 rounds. Problem is that he has to identify between Maxey and Embiid and got to get legit. He's supposed to think like that because his team did go to the second round and they surprised a lot of people. And I do see his upside. I don't agree with him, but he's supposed to think like that because realistically, um, realistically, you got Mahomes, you got Jackson, you got Lamar. I'm talking about this year. He would have won it if he don't get hurt. He'd have been back to back. But CJ got an argument. He make a case he's close if they do it again this year. And they were soft. They were soft. And he had an instance in one of them games like he did against Golden State. He just sat out there and didn't want to drive and go hard. He sit there and try to fade. So, but anyway, I already know there's a lot of Laker fans. I'm always outnumbered with that. I don't get it though. Now, when the Lakers were great, I'd understand, but they ain't great. I look at LeBron like a bad soap opera. So I can't get excited about all the hype there because I don't see it. I'm gonna see something I don't see. I see a team that's been beat by the same team 8-1 the last 2 years. Did I miss something? Or Denver spanked that butt, beat them 15 different ways. Did I miss something? I mean, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure it out. And you get ready to have your third different coach in the last 4 years. Did I miss something? I don't know. Oh yeah, come on now. Oh yeah. He's one of the greatest coaches ever. He just has a short fuse box, that's all. But that man knows how to coach X's and O's. And he definitely knows how to shape you up and build you something with you. So yeah, I don't know what I'm missing with the Laker love. I don't get it. Shoot, the Clippers got more consistency with a coach than the Lakers do. Who? Heck. I don't know what that crap you mean. They want Tatum to win. They want Tatum because Tatum sells the jerseys in the league and the imagery. But Jalen could win. He's trying to hog because he's trying to get his light. And he's got a reputation. He got a lot of money on Jason Tatum, yo. Yeah, but they had their tension too. Larry was hard on him. Larry would be hard on them guards. Tatum trying to get that. I told you, Tatum knows he's trying to cash in from a legacy perspective. He got a lot of pressure on him too. I don't have a dog in the race. I think Jalen and Tatum both got things that they both do well. And I think if you combine the two, like peanut butter and jelly, that makes one great sandwich. But I'm not sold on either one of them is better. Larry Brown was a great coach. Never said otherwise. He outwears his welcome. You saw what happened with the Knicks. No, he won't. I disagree with you on that because where is he going to go? They will get him more pieces, and he's going to be there like 10 years. I can't see him leaving Boston if they lose. Where he going to go? Yeah, my cousin sent me that. My cousin sent me that. Just have to pray for the man. That's all. It's tough for some guys without playing ball. That limelight, them drugs, all he ain't going to no Lakers, y'all. But who gonna team up with AD? Are you crazy? Please, teaming up with AD. And team up with AD and do what? What you gonna do with AD? It was some drug related. My cousin sent me the link earlier today. So I don't even really, I just have to put prayers for the cat. I pray for him. There's a lot going on with that cat. You get AD and you ain't gonna do nothing. And Jason Tatum, if Boston gives him a hard time, what you think happened in LA? He is, because he does not command what he's supposed to. First of all, the problem with him, George Carl was right. He said he was or never was. He's not cut out to be that dude. He wants to hang on to LeBron's strings, and he doesn't really vocalize where he should be the man. He should be an alpha, and he ain't. How you think I would feel if I was Anthony Davis with my teammate who we won a ring with a few years ago is sitting up here talking about this dude is more skilled and the best skilled, and he's slurping him, and I got to play with him. And Anthony Davis ain't no slouch, because Anthony Davis' skill set is legit. He just plays like a guard, and he's just so funny time. He doesn't command. He should have put a 45 burger on Jokic. Not to be humiliated with Jamal Murray hitting that fade to win the game. That was embarrassing. So, that's the problem. That's the problem. So, yeah, he's overrated. He didn't do nothing in New Orleans. He's got top 75. He gets all this. No, he ain't. He should be. His skill set, but his game ain't where it's supposed to be because he doesn't have the drive. He doesn't have the drive. And if he don't be associated with Clutch Sports, his commercials, as corny as he is, he looked like a beast last night. Well, it's about time because he was good. I'm not gonna call him a bust, but when you settle for being the third best player on the team and you're that young and you didn't really bring it in Dallas because you and Luka had issue. New York, you kind of deferred to being second, third. So people kind of forgot about you. He brought that on himself. He was what we call a good talent who had a chance to do something. And he was on a milk carton because people had pretty much gave up on Porzingis. I mean, he was going to be a third option at this stage. I know he did because they had tension. You do know there was a battle for top dog, and I don't know what Porzingis was thinking because Porzingis is not a top dog. He's a sidekick. But KP thought he could be as good as Luka. They're pretty evenly matched. I tend to like them both for different takes. I think I agree. Saturday got a little bit more personality from him. But Booger's good at what he do. They close. That's a good one to ask me about because I like them both. The only mistake Jeff Saturday made was trying to be an NFL head coach. That was the only mistake he made. Keep your butt. Since you got skinny, stay upstairs. Don't go back down on the field. That was not a good look. Because he became Jeff Monday again because that didn't last long. I like Booger a lot, though. They both legit. Just a slight pinch to Saturday, though, because he does have some personality that I kind of dig. That's all. But it's close, though. Aikman. Well, he was because he was fired. You know, you you get it in and you coach the Colts, and you be back there. You be back there. You be back. He was back. He was back. Yeah, because he didn't last but 2 days. You saw his little. And you think I forgot about that, huh? People be thinking like I forgot about you trying to be a head coach. I didn't last long. You party on Saturday night, and then you had a remote like we all did Monday quarterback sitting up there on the lazy boy. Yeah, I got to give Aikman an edge. Steve, he articulates well, but Aikman just hits the points. Aikman really hits the points as analysis. I like the way he, I like his feel. When I'm thinking about it. Okay, one at a time. They've been trying to move Levine. They want them both gone, but you can't get no takers for them, not for what they want. It's a tough sell because these two cats deserve to be where they are because they stat patterns. They don't really make your team better. They just habitual stat patterns. They stat pad. They put up pretty numbers and they get their butt beat. And for me, Charles Barkley. Mark is more articulate because he knows how. I love his podcast and where he roll. Well, come on now, Charles got flavor. Come on now, Charles got a way of breaking it down, and you crack up. And I gotta have humor with it. Mark's really like he breaks it. He talks in a different way, but I just prefer Charles on the two. Well, not in Toronto, he can't be. I mean, shoot, he can play, but you know where he's at right now? Shoot, he may as well be in Spain somewhere, Argentina, as we say. He's a good talent, but you know, he's another one that's wasting. Who can they? What can they make a move with? If I was him, I would. If he want to go back to the finals, I would. If I want to go back to the finals, I would. Because Cleveland is good enough to get second round. And bring him back, it'll be like a Rocky movie. That's the only way he's going to the finals. The door is locked in the West. You seen Denver beat the Lakers, Minnesota beat Denver, and then Dallas beat Minnesota. And then you got to factor in a OKC team. Who are you going to surpass with that? And don't forget, San Antonio will be coming. Wemby will be getting better. Houston is coming. Don't know what's going to happen with New Orleans, but come on now. And then Jaws coming back to the Grizz. Come on now. West has got stacked. That's what I'm saying. They probably will, DeRozan, because Levine is more movable. Yeah, he's just wide open. Because Milwaukee's bipolar, and I don't know what they're going to do. And Philly's got a chance if Embiid can get healthy, but they got to make sure they get, who got to go. They got to get legit 4 tops. They can't be playing with the 3 tops. That's their problem. And Miami got to make a move. Oh, yeah, he's gone. He should be. I told you that already. You talking about Jamal Murray? I'm going to start Jamal Murray. I'm going to bench Ja, and I'm cutting Booker. Yeah, because he had more success. He utilized his offense better. Zebo was a tough dude, but Zebo didn't have the wing spread of offense that Paul had. That's the difference, really. Everything else, Zebo could match him pretty much tangible, but Gasol had a better offensive game. Yeah, I do like Jamal Murray that good. I think Jamal, when he's focused, is something else. Ja got to come off my bench out them two, and Booker got to ride, got to go. I haven't seen Devin step it up like Jamal did. And Ja can lead a team. Booker can't lead a team. And Murray can take over. Okay, let me see. Lamar. For me, out of them two, I guess Lamar because he had more to offer. I like Twan Shimmy, but that's. Yeah, Jay Will I have. His name is James Harden. There you go. I don't support none of them unless they want reparations. So if you're talking politics, give me reparations. I don't waste my time with none of them candidates. But Joe Biden probably by default, but the Trumpster is gonna probably win. It's the fix is in. Yeah, James Harden was that dude, Jay Will. I'm tired of book. Um, yeah. If you're talking about a center, mm, mm-mm, mm-mm, mm. But if I'm talking about like a regular player, James Harden comes to mind. He dominated and couldn't get past second round. I don't know who that is. There's no trans here, nothing like that. LL is in my top 5 ever for rappers. Longevity, classic songs, live performer, hit songs, yeah. Oh yeah, Byron Donald was horrible. Yeah, I did. Basketball, baseball, football. I played a bit of all that. I told you about Byron Donald. These Tim Scott knockoffs are embarrassing and hilarious. And they one on top of the other on top of the other. I mean, the stuff that they say for clicks and views is scary. Yeah. No, he ain't as bad as Daniel Cameron because Daniel Cameron got blood on his hands. Donald is just ignorant bad from a historical perspective. Daniel Cameron is evil. There's a difference. Of course. Come on now. It was basketball. So back then, um, at the time with height and everything, it was like a 2. But that's a long time ago. No. Of course, Aaron Donald is a legit Hall of Famer. That's not even for discussion. He's one of the greatest to ever play his position. Baseball, I was putting in the outfield, just some left field, and some first base. Wanted to play football. My grandma wouldn't let it because I had the coach was asking me for tight end at the time. That's when I weighed a bit more. Paul Pierce. And I like KD way better, but Paul Pierce more clutch though. Especially if it's close. Paul Pierce could bring it. But don't let that video get out to Paul Pierce's live stream because then he'll have me on Undisputed saying, see, someone sees I'm better than KD. Let's not let this get out. I'm not saying I'm with my little world in this stream, but I just don't want that to get out because he crazy enough to say, yeah. But asking me the clutch gene, Paul Pierce. Because he could knock that shot down. KD bad, but yeah, I'm for real. He crazy too. He'd be like, "Yeah, see, someone sees him," and he'll say it all. No, I'm not saying you better than KD because he's delusional to have a segment. Pick up, yeah, for hip hop, he is. I mean, he was very successful. Um, his best strength to me is a talent scout. If you must know, to land Snoop, to land Eminem, to have his own solo career, and just always be at the right place, right with some 50 came along. Just that to me. Oh, I can't think about them right now because that's kind of hard because I got a swam eras. Um, Obviously, you're gonna give Pippen a nod. Dr. J would get a nod. Michael Cooper would probably get a nod from me. Mm, I like Tony Allen. Yeah, I got to come back on that one because you kind of come up with that one. I mean, Derek, Sidney Moncrief might come up in there too. Oh, yeah, with Dre. Yeah, his talent. I mean, yeah, he definitely got a formula that worked as a producer. Alvin Robinson was a bad boy. Good call on there, y'all. On A-Rob. Different era, different time. That's a way back machine one. Dre is Sonic. I'm not laughing at you, Jay Will, but I am laughing at what you just said. Because the NFL, same thing. I wish people, and you know what, Jay Will? Bless your soul, because you know what? For all these people who walk around in the NBA say the players run the league, that needs to be sent to Adam Silver. For all this talk about, he does have ghostwriters. We said producer, we ain't say songwriters to you. You never asked. You never asked. Yeah, he's had Ghost. Scott Storch did some work. There's been some cats. DJ Quick did some drum parts here and there. But Dre's been the one that's had the overall green light. Most of your favorite artists and top tier talents have had ghost work done. It's not exactly. I can't answer that right now because we ain't started football yet. You can say that for a couple months. Just being fair to you. But I will say this. Early on, yeah, he do. All I'll say, JT early on, Green Bay should, but Detroit's them two are gonna be fun to watch. That could be an NFC should have been NFC championship this year. Detroit should have went to the Super Bowl. That old turkey don't be try to be cute. Oh, Dan Campbell, he frustrated me with that mess. Should have been a replay of the first game of the season. Messed him up. He did get called out. He did. I was in the source some years back, and some cats did. But do you know what happens, Ted? You know what happens? If the ghosts don't blow up, then they are just ghosts. Meaning that their career, like I'll give you an example. If you remember the DOC, he did work on the Chronic and also on Doggy Style for Snoop. The DOC was a bad dude. It's getting funky. It's getting kind of funky. But his career didn't blow. Dre connected. So sometimes it's kind of like who connects the stars, you know? Yeah, because they're paid out of them, you know, they're paid on the low. So they're not gonna some of them will talk. No. As an artist, you can say as an artist, not as a producer. I haven't felt none of his beats. I think his beats are pretty dinky. They're pretty marginal. You know, as an MC and as a producer, that's too different. Oh yeah, most of them do, yo. Most of them do. We're not in a day and time when hip hop people care about that. And I'm not saying you don't, but I'm talking about the general audience of today. This ain't like the 80s or the early 90s. You wouldn't even have covered a song. Um, Snoop covered uh, Slick Rick, and so did Outkast. That was rare, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on that Big Daddy Kane. If you watch his interviews, he talks about ghostwriting for Hammer and some other people. He might. I'm not. Or he's done it for others. I don't know if he does. I mean, I don't. I think he does his verses because he pretty much has a certain cadence that he does. But he's probably ghosted for others. He gets paid. Most of them um do ghost work. You got to remember something. Hip hop is based on what? Character, theater, and play. It's like a movie script. These rappers be playing roles. So they role play. They have agendas. They have their facade of what they are. So that's not far fetched to think they wouldn't. Why wouldn't they have ghosts? Ludicrous. Oh, ludicrous. Come on now. That's not enough for discussion. Rick Ross has some decent production, but that's it. That's it. No, I think that game 7 was that the smart move was having Sheet at the center spot. They just couldn't get no scoring. That's all. Came down to a couple of possessions. It was a winnable, and I thought that was the smartest move Doc did. I think they looked horrible in game 6. They squandered and got blew out, and then you put all the pressure for game 7. I wouldn't say. Well, first of all, let me tell you something about Ray Charles. Anybody know about Ray? Uh, he had to pick up everything by ear, and he also would interpret words. He covered songs. He never was a self-contained writer of all the time. But that man was so talented. Of course, he changed the course of music. He's not seen as one of the greatest songwriters, but as one of the greatest artists ever. The father of soul, because he was an accomplished pianist, saxophone player, and his versatility was a standard. And if you watch Donald Fagen from Steely Dan doing the Ray Charles and Billy Joel, that's the white dudes doing Ray. Steve was influenced a lot with Ray. Ray was a standard. Ray preordained what James Brown did and the groove and the tempo, and he took the church and the spiritual. So when you get to a Sam Cooke, to a Marvin Gaye, to an R. Kelly, Ray Charles predated it. Yeah, he was. Because Little Wing is a beautiful song. He's underrated as a songwriter. But again, he changed the course of music with his playing, and that's a whole nother story. Uh, Top 10. What can I say? I got to shrug my shoulders. I mean, the guy done won 4 rings. What you want me to say? And did it with different teams. I grew up with Bruce Bochy. Was a kid when he used to play for the Houston Astros, and he sucked as a catcher. And I didn't see what he became as a manager, but I should have kind of known, because most times when guys ain't that much as players, they get hooked up as jobs as managers, and then it's kind of like Steve Kerr, Bruce Bochy, Pat Riley, Phil Jackson. It's just one of them things. It's just one of them things. So that's it. He's a great manager. That man done the thing. So But I remember when he was a catcher. Hmm. Yeah, good call on Luda. Luda got Rick Ross beat for me. Yeah, so you'll see somebody that you look at now, a lot of them, because they don't have no expectations. Their career is not that memorable. So, and you just kind of laugh at them, and then except for Kurt Rambis, Ted. That's we. There's always exceptions to the rule. He sucked. Like, I thought you were just a gimmick as a player, and then you came up as a head coach, and you were even worse. But he's got so much control. Make it make sense. So, yeah. But anyway, that's my thoughts on that. I used to, well, umpires, if you want to be joking. Yeah, they barely be all hanging out. I remember there was an Earl Weaver. It was one of them managers. Tell me it was all out. They'd be arguing. I said, yeah, because you sit on your butt, you be eating all the time. Grueling, but yeah. Because Ray Charles had a sense of people. It's almost like he could smell. I still remember when he said how he could tell the difference between a fat girl and a regular girl and all that. People don't really trip off a skinny manager in a uniform. The fat ones stand out more. Skinny ones not so much. Billy Martin would play tough and do all those antics. No one really trips on a skin thin manager because Looks like he keeps himself in shape. Now, I will tell you who was funny was Tommy Lasorda, because he used to wear a girdle, and he used to talk about slim fat. Lasorda had me rolling, but Lasorda be eating that pasta. He be eating that linguine. He be tearing that pizza up. That was hilarious. Don Zimmerman looked like a butterball. He looked like Porky Pig. He did. He was talking about his weight loss. He was lying, but Lasorda was a dude's dude though, and he was a trip. Old school pies on Italian food, old school. Leave it at that. You read between the lines about Lasorda. American and apple pie cat. But he was talking about that slim fast. And he was big in LA. One, almost as big as any manager that's been there. Other senses can work. I mean, you just because Jay Will, Ray Charles counted money. He knew big bills from small ball meals, and people trying to hustle him. He knew. Yeah, and also he's the bigger. See, big men never get love like smaller men do. They always got issue with bigs. They always got issues. It pains them to get acknowledged Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It pains them to acknowledge Will Chamberlain. It pains them to acknowledge Bill Russell. It pains them to acknowledge Shaq. It pains them to acknowledge Elijah Wan, Moses Malone. He was better than Kobe to me as far as peak and prime go. With the coaching of Phil Jackson, yes. But without Phil Jackson, no. Because Shaq was just kind of wild without the right coach. You got to have a system for that kind of talent. But you saw what happened. Oh, yeah. Jordan would have known how to use him properly. He wouldn't have had no problem with him. Yeah, well, he was in an era where he was doing what was considered, but he wasn't until he got to Golden State. And it was low key because it wasn't effective. So when you call a 20 and 10 man low key, you know what that means in English? That ain't really mattering much. But he was good though. No, he wasn't, because Jordan didn't want to trade Pippen for him. And I don't think he had enough respect for him. He was a kid at the time and he wasn't quite feeling him. And T Mac wasn't ready for Jordan. You gotta remember something. Phil passed on him too. I think maturation took a little time with T Mac. I still remember when they were up 3-1 against Detroit, and he said, "We'll see you in the second round." And Detroit must have got that as bulletin board material and tore they behind up. So, yeah, he prematured and predated some of the things he said. I like T Mac a lot, but he got passed on for a reason. And I don't think he would have worked good with Jordan. Would have been interesting with him and Tim Duncan, though, if that had came to pass. That would have been interesting. Okay. I got a few minutes left. We're going to see what we're doing. Probably about 3 of them. And I don't really get into it because Magic was integral. I mean, you'd want to play with Magic. Oh, yeah. Anybody play with Magic. So, before you were born, I used to watch the All-Star games religiously every year in the 80s. And till the 90s to a starting point. But anyway, especially in the West, everybody who played with Magic looked good in All-Star game. Tom Chambers looked like a Ralph Sampson looked like. I mean, he made everybody better. And Barkley would have been scary. He'd have been scary. Scary. Because Barkley was the best player in the Dream Team, 92. So had it had someone like Magic with him, oh yeah, he's winning a couple rings. And then we're looking at him in a whole different argument. Probably Magic in 92. That's the one that kind of comes to mind because we didn't think he was going to live. And he he looked great. It was great to see him out there. That's probably, yeah, you're entitled to your opinion. Bird, love Magic a lot, but Bird was you see a lot of his impact on today's game more so than Magic's, because if we're talking about Steph, if we're talking about LeBron, that man was a bad dude. And I'm a huge Magic fan. And I have no problem with either one of those guys, but I'd have to go with Bird. I have to get Bird that edge on that. But they both were great though. And we wouldn't be having no NBA today weren't for both of them, especially for the commercial impact. Yeah, he was a good coach. Had a good chance to beat the Bulls, and probably with another piece or two, maybe get the Lakers a chance. There is no next Michael Jordan. That's like asking me who's the next Michael Jackson. There ain't gonna be another one. There's no other that's gonna be that. I know they want to throw Anthony Edwards. First of all, to be another Jordan, you got to almost forget everything you're seeing today with commercialism, shoe deals, media, etc. That ain't gonna happen. He ran into a end of the road last of Jordan, and he ran into a prime peak Shaq. So, sometimes you get beat by something better. Ain't no shame in that. And the problem is that I think if Larry Bird could have played, he found a way to beat one of them. I'm just gonna keep it real. He wins one of them. I'm not gonna put that on the rest as much as the Pacers didn't get no rebounds. The last 5 minutes of the game they were up. They did not box out and get any rebounds. Reggie Miller didn't get no rebounds. The Davis wasn't come through. It was a close game. It was a winnable game. They didn't get no box out. They get no boards. Because you got to be able to defend. And they didn't box out. There are times when I can clearly see the refs, and they probably nudged the player too, but that was a winnable game for the Pacers. They didn't get no boards. They lost. So they could have won that. They didn't finish what they started. I still come down to not getting no boards, because that to me was the turning point of that series. They had a chance. Reggie didn't do it. Yeah, it was. It was. And he matched pretty good against Kobe. He had some shots. It's just that can't stop Shaq. And they were just too much for him. I don't think it would have been his last shot, because he was offered to come back to Boston years later. He said no. He just didn't want to be a hot shot dude. Had he went the Ray Allen route, he probably gets a ring. But he didn't want to do it, so. Well, I told you when Tayshaun blocked that shot, that was it. Yeah, they didn't have the depth to beat the Pistons. Pistons had a better starting set. It happens like that sometimes. You just have a better set. You got to remember something. It's not a lot that separates, but it's enough to. This will be one of my last ones because I'm getting ready to go. Leland, very good manager, very successful manager. He's a winner. He doesn't get talked about as much, though, because there are other managers who've got more love. And they got more rings and notoriety, but he got respect. He'll never be replaced in Pittsburgh as Chuck Tanner, though. So that's where you're going with that. But so anyway, I'm gonna get ready to call it a night. I will be back in a couple of days before game 2. I just want to stop by, give everybody a shout out. Appreciate everybody coming through. Great questions, great answers. And I am definitely going to do a couple videos tomorrow. Appreciate everybody that came through. Thank you as always for the support, for the likes, the clicks, the views, spreading the word. His live stream is definitely doing quite well. Appreciate everybody. And we got a lot, like I said, we're going to have more in store. And I'm sure there'll be something that comes the next couple of days. But anyway, going to be working on some videos, and we can start talking about game 2, what we see. So appreciate everybody. Stay blessed, stay safe, stay up. I should see you in 48 hours before game 2. I'm out. Peace.